Hi folks, Mark here, Views from Mark. I hope wherever you are in the world that you're keeping safe, healthy and well. Today's video is a follow-up to an unboxing video that I posted last week. At the end of June, beginning of July, I was contacted by a company in Canada called SOVRYGN Watches and a guy called Hamzat. And he asked me, would I be interested in taking a look at some pre-production watches that they've got and are currently developing before they launch a crowdfunding campaign in September. And I said, yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. So Hamzat and SOVRYGN, they sent me two watches to take a look at. We've got an automatic movement and a quartz movement. And they just wanted to kind of gauge my feedback, see what my thoughts and impressions on the watches were. And I said to them from the outset that I'm happy to take a look at whatever they want to send me. But keep in mind, I will be open and honest in my feedback, and I'll try and give constructive criticism if there, is anything that I'm not particularly keen on or think needs work. And they said that's great, that's what they're after, so we were good to go. So to be absolutely crystal clear, I'm not being paid by SOVRYGN Watches, I'm not being sponsored by them. I'm actually posting these watches back to them after I've shot this video. I've worn them for a couple of weeks now, so I've got a good feel of what they're like, what I like, what I'm not so keen on. And the thing to keep in mind as well is that with anything like watches, like fashion, it's all subjective. So there may be things that I'm not keen on or that I am keen on that you wouldn't be keen on. So these are just my impressions, my thoughts, my opinions, but to be crystal clear, once again, I'm not paid by them, I'm not sponsored by them, this isn't an endorsement for them, this is just me taking a look as someone who likes watches and likes checking out new things, whether it's technology, watches, cars, whatever, and giving my thoughts and feedback on it. So we got sent two watches, as I say. We've got an automatic movement and a quartz movement, and I've got to say right off the bat, to give you a high-level view of my thoughts, I'm really impressed. I like the watches that I've been sent here. So we've got the automatic movement, which comes with a 12mm thick case. It's made from forged carbon and stainless steel, 316 stainless steel, apparently. So if I hold this up now, you can kind of get a better view. As you can see, it's got a skeleton design to the dial here. So these lines are actually, from what Hamzat has said to me in our communications, these actually represent a map of Nigeria, which is going back to his roots. And all the lines on this skeleton dial are luminescent, so they've got a luminova about them. You can see the automatic movement there working in the back. If I turn the watch around, you get a view of that movement. As you can see, I always quite like having a see-through back to a watch, especially when it's an automatic movement. It's quite fascinating to see the inner workings of a watch, I find. So it's quite a cool feature to have. And this is a sapphire crystal as well on the back. In terms of the movement itself, it is an automatic Japanese movement. I've not had any concerns with it in the couple of weeks that I've been wearing these watches. I've been alternating between the two, so going from the automatic one day, wearing the quartz the next, back and forth. But I will be honest, I always tend to lean towards an automatic movement. I don't know why, I just do. And I would say I've probably worn the automatic watch here a bit more than I have done the quartz. Not that much. I'd still say probably 65%, wearing the automatic and 35% wearing the quartz. So it's not been quite a 50-50 split, but I've enjoyed both immensely. So the forged carbon, as you can see on this case, it is quite beautiful. It's not something I've encountered before on any previous watches that I've worn. You've kind of got the SOVRYGN logo on the side there as well, which is kind of etched into the carbon. It's got this stainless steel kind of gold finish about it on this brown leather strap. And I must say it has been very easy to wear in the sense of it goes with most things. Like any kind of outfit for the day, you can wear this, I feel, and it would complement whatever you're wearing quite well. It also has the benefit of having, if I just flip the watch around here, it has the benefit of having this unique strap. Again, you can see the SOVRYGN logo here. And then if you see at the bottom end of the spring bar here, there's like a pulley. And that's because, as I mentioned in my unboxing video, this has a kind of a quick release strap. So it means that you can interchange the straps on these watches very easily, very quickly. And ultimately that changes the look of a watch considerably. You know, you could get a blue strap or a green strap, you know, whatever your preference is or whatever you're fancying at the time to go with whatever you're going to be wearing. And it just opens up that world of possibilities of having more than one look for a watch, because it means it can be interchangeable and it can be a lot more versatile, and I really like that. I've only been sent it with the brown strap, but as I say, it's gone with pretty much everything I've been wearing, and admittedly, because of the pandemic we're experiencing at the moment, I'm still having to self-shield to a large extent, so the only time really that I've been out and about is either to give my car a run just to make sure it keeps running, or finally after 7 months getting a haircut, which I think we can all agree was needed. If you saw my previous video, it was kind of getting a bit wild, but I've worn it out when I have gone out the house, when I've been out, you know, to do some shopping perhaps, or when I went to get my haircut, I was wearing the automatic watch, and it's very comfortable. It's very durable. It feels nice on the wrist. The leather on these straps is very soft. I mean, it really does feel like a premium leather, and really great quality. So it's been a pleasure to wear the automatic in terms of the movement and it retaining the charge, because automatic watches, they have varying degrees of how much energy they will store within them after you've worn it for a day. If you take it off, it's not just going to stop. It will have an energy, almost like a battery. It will have energy saved up, and then it will use that energy until you put the watch on again. I've not been able to get a definitive timeline of how long the watch will run after a day of full use, but I would say it's at least 24 hours. I can, you know, wear it fully one day as I'm going about, you know, working from home. If I go out, you know, take the car for a run, whatever, come back, take the watch off at night, put it down. If I then go and wear the Quartz Movement the next day, wear it again all day, go about, do my, you know, working from home, take the car for a run, go and get some shopping, what have you, I'll come back to the automatic in the evening and it's still going. So there's no concerns there in terms of the power reserve. It's really good. If I just read a couple of bits, some notes that I've had. So it's an automatic and hand winding movement. It's got an anti-reflective sapphire crystal. So that, I must say, I am impressed with, because one thing I have noticed on certainly the Amigas that I own, because I'm an Amiga man, I've got to say it, I'm an Amiga man, in terms of my watch preferences, the anti-reflective qualities of this sapphire crystal are pretty brilliant. I'm really impressed. You certainly don't get that glare off the face of the watch that you perhaps otherwise would. It feels a bit more of a satin kind of finish to it, and the reflection is a lot more subtle. So I do like that quite a bit, and that has been quite a nice feature to have. As I say, the case is forged carbon, a mix of forged carbon and 316 stainless steel. The case thickness is 12 millimeters, and it is water resistant, so the stats say. So 12 millimeters, you can kind of get a view there as well. There's the SOVRYGN logo on the crown of the watch. It is water resistant 5 ATM. Now, I'm not sure exactly what that translates to in terms of water resistance that we're perhaps more familiar with in the standard sense of the term, but to be honest, I don't really wear watches if I go swimming or if I'm doing the washing up, or you know, taking a shower. I wouldn't generally wear a watch, whether it be, you know, a fashion watch or a more high-end premium watch. I generally wouldn't wear it too much and get it wet anyway, but it does offer some water resistance, which is great. The bandwidth, again, for the strap is 22 millimeters. So that means that at least you know, if you got this watch, you could know what size of complementary straps to go for in terms of the width. So 22 millimeters is quite a good width. It's a generic width, so you'll be able to have lots of options in different forms of straps that will be available for this watch, from many different sources. The buckle is a deployment clasp. So if I show you this here, so it's quite a big clasp and buckle. As you can see, it's got the SOVRYGN branding again. This one has, as you can see, stainless steel. If you push at the sides here, this will actually pop open. Now this is a butterfly clasp. So that means it closes like this. If I show you, so it kind of folds over here, that clicks into place, folds over here, that clicks into place, and that completes it. So what you'd have, obviously, is the strap here going through, and it kind of pops open a little bit like so. Now, in my unboxing video, I did struggle with that a bit. It's not something I've been used to or experienced before, the butterfly clasp kind of release. And initially, I wasn't a fan. I've got to be honest, I wasn't a fan. I would say it wouldn't be my first choice even now. I've got more used to it in terms of putting the watch on and doing it up, but it does take a bit of practice. It is a bit trickier to do than like the other kind of buckles and clasps that I've experienced so far, whether it be on an Omega watch or a Fossil watch, what have you. It's butterfly, as I say, it's not something I've experienced before. I am more used to it, but it still wouldn't necessarily be my first choice of, fixings for my watch, to have as a clasp. Whether there will be other versions available, I don't know. One thing Hamzat has said is that they do have plans to actually make this clasp smaller. There was apparently a concern that because of the size of it, and once you've got the watch on your wrist, whether it catches on clothing and things like this, that's not something I've really experienced, unless I think you were wearing a very tight-fitting shirt. That's, when I say tight-fitting shirt, I mean tight around the wrists. That's the only time when any watch can really catch on the cuff of your shirt. But I wouldn't say really that the size as it is currently is too much of an issue. I think it would look nice with a smaller clasp, certainly, but I wouldn't say that that's a deal breaker. As I say, whether it will be available or these straps will be available with different kind of clasp options, I don't know. That's something that we'll have to wait and see what other feedback Hamzat and SOVRYGN get from other people that they've engaged with, to kind of take a look and give feedback on. The case diameter is 42 millimeters. The case thickness, as I've said, is 12, and the bandwidth is 22. So it's a good sized watch. I have small wrists, as I've mentioned on previous videos, but it doesn't feel oversized on my wrist. As I say, it's very comfortable. It's got some good weight to it, because obviously you've got the forged carbon, which is light. Carbon is a light material, and the mix of the stainless steel within this automatic movement, and it's still got some good weight to it. You still know you're wearing a watch. It's not overly chunky. It doesn't feel it to me, so I've got no concerns there. Another point of concern that Hamzat raised in our email correspondence was that he wanted to know what I thought of the visibility. So I said to him, well, I'm assuming you're talking about the hands, in terms of how visible are the hands against this skeleton background. And I said to him, I can't say that that's been an issue for me. They're clearly visible. I don't see how it could really be an issue, but maybe for some people it is. I don't know. I suppose it depends on your preference, whether you like to have your watch with a bit more of a unique look, as this one has, with the skeleton dial on the face there, or whether you like just a plain background to your face, or rather a solid dial to a watch. I don't know. But in terms of visibility of the hours and the minutes hands, there's no issue there from what I can see, to be perfectly honest. And I quite like the design. I think it's different, it's unique. It gives you that speaking point of, you know, if someone says, "Oh, I like your watch, it's very nice," you can say, "Oh, thank you very much, you know, this is the details behind it, this is the story," you know, that all the lines and the actual design is kind of harking back to the roots of the company and the heritage, you know. So it's very nice, it's very well designed. I like the design. I don't think there's any problem with visibility there of the hours or the minutes hands. Next up we have the Quartz Movement. This was the second watch that was sent to me. It was in the same box which you see here. This case actually is for the automatic movement. Hamzat has said that the actual presentation case that the Quartz Movement comes in will vary slightly from this. It will be a bit different. But as I said, if you haven't seen this in the unboxing video, go back and watch that. It's a nice case, nice presentation case. You know, the watches arrived and looked very smart in it. So as I say, Quartz Movement here on the right of the shot here. This is a completely different design, a different look, and a different feel. Yeah, it's a very kind of traditional look to this watch. We've got a lovely soft leather strap here, and as I've said, the quality of these straps does feel very premium in terms of the leather. So you've got the SOVRYGN logo there on the inside. It's a really nice black strap. Again, it has this butterfly clasp. This one doesn't have a push release though, whereas the other one you have to push some buttons on the side to make it pop open. This one isn't. Now you'll have noticed if you saw my unboxing video that I thought there may have been an issue with this being a magnetic clasp, or it being, you know, easily popping open. I think I've identified why that is. I think this particular clasp is one that's probably been worn a bit before it was sent to me, and it's just a case that it's, you know, not loose, but it's kind of worn in, as you'd expect from anything where you wear it over time. But it's got the same butterfly clasp, as I say. You pop that over, that clicks into place. You pop this side over, and this is the side with the bigger buckle that is slightly looser than the other side, but it's still very nice. It works, and once you've got this, you know, strapped correctly onto your wrist, there's no risk of it falling off your wrist anyway, so there's no worries there. Again, it's got the SOVRYGN design. I do like this kind of stainless steel finish to it. Again, we've got the stainless steel of the watch case here. Again, it's got the SOVRYGN logo etched into the stainless steel there, as you can see. It looks very smart. The face of this watch is completely different to the automatic. I mean, it couldn't be any more different if it tried. It is a plain black dial. It's got a date window there, so you've got the day and the date, which is magnified, and there is the seconds hands down at the bottom there. You can see it ticking away as time goes by. It's a very nice watch as well. It's been very comfortable to wear on the wrist. The actual leather strap, as I say, is very comfortable, very soft, feels very premium. This as well is a 22mm band, I believe, and again a 42mm case diameter here on this particular Quartz Movement. On the back here you can see we've got the SOVRYGN logo, and again some of the details there is water resistant as well, 5 ATM. Again, I don't know necessarily how that kind of translates, but there is some level of water resistance there, which is always good. You've got the crown, which again has the SOVRYGN logo on it. And then I think one of my key points on this watch, which is a preference as well, and it's something that I'm not keen on particularly. I've seen a similar thing on Rolexes before. None of my Omegas have this, and as I say, it's just my preference, but I'm not a fan of the magnified date window. And this has the actual cyclops for it, you know, the actual magnification part is kind of stuck on. It's an addition to the sapphire crystal, so it does stick out a bit, as you can see there. It's the only thing on this watch that I'm not particularly a fan of. That's my personal preference. Hamzat has said that they are actually going to get rid of that feature, the actual magnification part there. They're going to remove from the watch. I got to say, as I say, it's not my preference, that kind of feature, but he has said that they are removing it, and he's also mentioned, if I just refer to my notes, be getting rid of the cyclops and adding a beveled border around the day-date function. So there's going to be a beveled border around that within, you know, the watch that will kind of make it stand out, I suppose, in a more subtle way, without there being any kind of additional physical additions to that sapphire crystal. Time-wise, it's a quartz movement. It's not lost any time. You know, I've not worn it, come back a couple of days later and seen that, you know, it's running slow or anything like that. I would say that's the same for both of these watches. They've run very well mechanically, keeping time. Again, this one's got some weight to it. If I compare this to the automatic movement, it's hard to tell which. I think they probably both weigh the same, to be honest, but they both complement each other very well. They're both very different looks, as you can see, but they serve different purposes. I think you could happily and easily wear the Quartz Movement to the office. It's got a smart look to it. It's very clean in design, obviously having that solid black dial with the date window. Obviously that's going to change. And that's the thing to remember about these watches. They are pre-production watches. There are parts to these that are going to change before the final full release. But you could wear, as I say, the Quartz Movement into the office and have the automatic as more of a dress watch going out, you know, socializing in the evenings or at the weekends, or vice versa. You know, they're both very durable watches in that regard. And that's the thing about watches like these, I would say, fashion watches, is that they're subjective. You know, you may, I'll be honest, I didn't think I was going to like the look and feel of the automatic movement in this case, where it's the brown with the stainless steel kind of gold effect. I didn't think that would suit me, but I was wrong, and I'm happy to admit I was wrong. I actually like it. It looked very nice, and it does look very nice on the wrist. So yeah, no, overall though, these watches, very nice indeed, very impressed. I think there is room for improvement on a few things, like the clasps and the buckles. As I say, they're something that I struggled with slightly, just because I'm not used to the butterfly clasp. But again, whether that will be something that's offered in different variations, I'm not sure. So there's that. There's obviously the date window on the Quartz Movement, which is being changed anyway. In terms of the visibility though of the hours and the minutes hands, for me personally, there's no issue there, certainly on the automatic movement. Definitely not on the Quartz. I mean, it's very clear, but I know that was a concern on the automatic, whether there would be a visibility issue. I just don't see that there is, to be honest, in my personal opinion. But both watches, very nice indeed. As I say, I'm very lucky to have been given the opportunity to check out these watches ahead of the official launch. With them being pre-production models, it's interesting to see how they're going to develop further in the future. SOVRYGN watches are launching a crowdfunding campaign in September. I would certainly recommend heading over to their website. I'll put a link in the description below. Have a look at their website, see what they've got going on. You know, there's plenty of watches on there to kind of spark your interest and imagination. You can kind of see the line and the direction that they're going down. It's very exciting in my personal opinion. Anyone, I think, who does want to make a contribution to the crowdfunding campaign when it gets going, there is discounts available to you if you were to want to buy one of these watches from their Successor Collection. So it's well worth checking out. I think with anything new like this, you never know where these watches are going to go, where the company's going to go. It's very exciting, as I say. I feel very honoured and privileged that they've reached out to me to take a look at these for them, give my thoughts and impressions. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe and click the bell button so you get a notification when I post something new. If you do have any questions about this video, any of these watches, or anything that I've not potentially covered that you'd like my opinion on, from having, you know, worn these watches for about 2 to 3 weeks now, as I say, alternating most days, do leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them, and if I can give you any extra thoughts or feedback, I will. But for now, thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.